Welcome to At Home with Music. I just had some dental work done, and so I'm missing a tooth, and so I will not be on camera in this particular video. However, bonus points for those of you who can guess where I am in this photo. Okay, on with the video. We've already studied the major and minor scales, including harmonic minor, melodic minor, and natural minor. Now, as I promised you in those previous videos, we are now going to turn our attention to the modes. So here's a few things that we need to review before we get into this. Every scale consists of two main components. First of all, you have the notes that make up each scale. And then you have the root note. That's the tonal center of the scale. That's the note that starts and ends the scale. That's the note we are drawn to in order to achieve resolution. So for example, the C major scale starts on C, that's the root note. And as you play the scale, you're drawn back to C. Now here is how we found the various modes. We started with what we originally referred to as the C major scale. Then we learned that you can also call this the Ionian mode. And in this case, we call it C Ionian, since C is the root note. So consequently, every major scale can also be called the Ionian mode of that particular scale. So for example, you start on G and play the G major scale. That's also G Ionian mode. Now we found the modes by establishing a new root note using a note from the original major scale. And so what we did was we created each mode using each note starting with the C major scale. So if you start on C and play from C to C, of course we know that that's the Ionian mode. Then if we start on D and play from D to D, that's the Dorian mode. Starting on E and playing to E is the Phrygian mode. Going from F to F, still using the notes of the C major scale, that is the Lydian mode. Going from G to G, using the notes of the C major scale, Mixolydian. And then Aeolian, which you'll also notice is the same as our natural minor. And then going from B to B is the Locrian mode. So the notes that make up these modes are all the same notes. They are all contained within the C major scale. The only difference is the note we designate as the root note. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to find the modes using the white keys. And that's a great place to start, but what do we do with all these black keys? How can we play these modes starting on different keys? Well, I'm going to show you how to find and play these mode scales starting on any key, on every key. And so here's how we're going to do it. And I encourage you now to follow me closely. We've already established how to find the modes starting with the C major scale or the Ionian mode. And we've also established which note of the scale we would use as the root note to create each mode. Ionian, note number 2, Dorian, 3, Phrygian, 4, Lydian, 5, Mixolydian, 6, Aeolian, 7, Locrian. Using these numbers for each note of a major scale, we can start on any note and create the modes. For example, say we want to play G Ionian. Well, that's actually the same as the G major scale. But what if we wanted to play G Dorian? Just as D is the second note of the C major scale, G is the second note in the F major scale. So we can create the G Dorian mode scale by playing from G to G using the F major scale and the key signature. And it sounds like this. That's G Dorian. What if we wanted to play C Mixolydian? Well, C is the fifth note of the F major scale. So we use the notes of the F major scale, and we start and end on C. We make C the root note, and we end up that is C mixolydian. What if we want to play A flat Lydian? Well, starting with A flat is the fourth note. We know that the Lydian mode is built on that fourth note of the major scale. So A flat is the fourth note of what major scale? E flat major. And so we play starting from A flat to A flat using the notes of the E flat major scale. That is A flat Lydian. Well, we have certainly opened up a big can of musical worms here. Think about it. How many modes are we going to be able to find using this method? In other words, what we're going to do is start on every note of the chromatic scale and play 7 modes on each one of those notes. That means 84 modes. Now, we already have the Ionian mode because it's the same as our major scale. And we also have the Aeolian mode. That's the same as our natural minor. So that leaves us 60 modes to explore. What we're going to do is play these modes, play the scales of these modes, not all in one video, of course, because that would make for a very long video. So why learn all these modes? Well, first of all, a great many songs use modes. And they often switch from standard keys to modes and back again. Or they use more than one mode. Knowing the modes in all the keys will help you learn and analyze songs more easily. It'll also help you if you want to write music. You'll have a wide range of chords to choose from. You won't be just stuck writing in major and minor keys. You can also incorporate the modes. And you can create some beautiful and interesting chord progressions, something like this. I started in Dorian mode, but then I quickly changed to D minor and went back. That's just one example out of countless examples that we could create. So what we're going to do in future videos, as we explore the modes and the scales of these modes, we're going to start by playing through all the Dorian modes. We're going to start with D Dorian. We already know that one. And then we're going to work our way around the circle of fifths. So we're going to play D Dorian, A Dorian. I'll start on this D, and you can see we're going to keep going up by fifths. D Dorian, A, E, B Dorian, F sharp, C sharp, A flat, E flat, B flat, and finally F. Oh, also C Dorian and G Dorian. I don't want to forget those guys. 12 versions of the Dorian mode. So I'll write that out for you, and you can follow along, play along with me. I will also include a short chord progression in that mode, so you can hear a sample of what the Dorian mode sounds like when you use a Dorian mode-based chord progression. So we're going to work our way through the remaining modes in the same fashion. We're going to play the modes in E, F, G, every note of the chromatic scale. However, we're going to leave out the Locrian mode because it is rarely employed. That's this one. And so basically we're going to be concentrating on 6 different modes, and we're going to play each mode based on each key of the chromatic scale. As we do this, you will definitely hear some recognizable sounds. Now, this is going to be a rather long series, but I encourage you to stick with it. Play through these modal scales with me and the modal chord progressions that will follow each scale. I guarantee you will not regret it. This will give you a wider picture of the beautiful sounds that you are capable of producing on the keyboard. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to showing you the way through these modal scales in upcoming videos. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That helps the channel a lot. I really appreciate all of you who have subscribed recently. The channel is growing, and I am so grateful. Thank you again, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.